Hi there, it's Lesley Langdon with another episode of UnityTV, and we are making really simple embossed cards using this itty bitty. It is called A Thing of Beauty, and it's a really beautiful stamp. You'll see that it's actually larger than the image. It's a great all-purpose stamp to have on hand because the sentiment says, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever." So you can give that out for any occasion. Mostly any occasion. What I've done is I've cut a 12 by 12 sheet of paper into strips that are 4 inches. So I'm going to get 3 cards out of this sheet of paper. Okay, it's just cardstock. It's from American Crafts. And also, to not waste the end, I'm going to fold it up a little bit so there's a little pocket. If you want to stick in a gift card or a personal note, you can do that as well. So the cards are going to be 5 inches by 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and score it at 5. And then again at 10. Okay, so what you have is your fold for the outside, and then fold in that inner part, and there's your instant pocket. Okay, so just take your glue and just go along each edge, and there, you've made yourself a cute little pocket. Okay, so I'll just quickly go ahead and score the other 2 cards at 5 and 10. Next, what we're going to do is emboss the front of the card. And I'm going to be showing you the new Embossabilities by Spellbinders. And what's so neat about them is that with one Embossabilities folder, you get 2 patterns just by flipping over. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so by the end of this tutorial, we'll have made 3 cards. So there we go. So let's pull out the Grand Calibur. Okay, so I have 2 patterns that I want to show you today. One comes in this size, and you can see that there's one pattern in there, and then you flip it like this, there's another pattern on that side. And that's how you get the 2 patterns. So I'm actually going to choose the inside pattern here. This particular folder is called Enchanted. Okay, so you just take the front of your card, and it's textured on the outside, so just look at the Embossabilities plate and look at the grooves that are sticking out. You know that that's going to push the paper out. So you want the part here, these parts that are sticking out, you want those to go into the inside of the card so that those will stick out on the outside. Okay? So you just line it up there. Now you're going to use the base plate for the Grand Calibur, and then there's a special raspberry plate, and that's the adapter plate here. Okay, and just run it through. Okay, so there you have the pattern. It's so pretty. So you've instantly dressed up your card. Okay, I'm going to round the corners as well. There we go. That's one down. So if you want to see what the other side of this folder looks like, we've already done the inside of Enchanted. Let's flip it and do the other side. Okay, so make sure you line up the card right. So you want the outside of your card facing the indented parts. It's going to come down. Okay, so there we have that pattern. Okay. So again, I'm going to cut my corners. Okay, I wanted to show you one more embossing folder, and this is a different size. So this one is Paisley pattern. So there's a smaller Paisley pattern on this side, and then there's a larger Paisley pattern on this side, which I think of all the Embossabilities folders that came out, this is my ultimate favorite. I love Paisley for some reason. Okay, so again, find the indented spot, the spots, or find the indented pattern. Put your card front down on that. Okay, and then same deal. Okay, and there is the Paisley pattern. So awesome. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so around the corners once again. I like to work in steps like this instead of making a full card to completion. I just like making, you know, all the cards, and then I'll do all the stamping together, and then at the end I'll usually embellish with ribbons and buttons and, you know, whatever I have left in my craft room. Okay, so there's 3 cards done. Now I'm going to die cut 3 shapes from white watercolor paper. So I also have some new products to show you, and these are also from Spellbinders. This is from a set called Splendid Circles. So I'll die cut the largest one, and then I'm going to die cut one of these. This is Labels 24. Okay, so die cut one of those. And then this label here is Labels 25. Okay, so choose a nice thick watercolor paper, because for this tutorial today I'll be using Ranger's Distress Stains. Okay, so you have your cutting plate this time instead of that adapter plate. Okay, before I'm done here, I am going to want to emboss those as well. Okay, so you have the embossing mat that goes down on top of your cuts, and then you have your embossing plate. Okay, and that all comes with the Grand caliber. Alright, so if you've never tried these distress stains, they're pretty cool. It's basically liquid ink. Yeah, so it's called fluid dye for papers and porous surfaces. Okay, so I'm going to use spun sugar, and I'll use that on the Splendid circles here. And for more color, just squeeze the bottle and you can get more coming out, just for a little bit of, say, extra color. Let's go around the edges with extra color. I'm going to really choose lighter colors of the distress stain so that our stamp really shows up. Our stamp, you know, that we're using today. There's a reminder. Okay, so I think I'll do Tumbled Glass on the Labels 25 here. Okay, and then maybe a little bit of variation by dabbing. Okay, just around the sides. And lastly, I'm going to be choosing Mustard Stain. And this is for Labels 24 here. It's a nice yellow. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite colors of the Distress products. We'll see how that dries. So to speed up the process, I'm going to use my heat gun, and I am going to dry these. Because the ink I'm using is actually water-based as well, so I need these to be dry before I stamp. Okay, so I dried these with my heat gun, but this wouldn't be as fun if I didn't show you by dropping water on these, just to make our background like really awesome. Okay, so I'm just taking water that I put in a glass and just flicking it on. Okay, not too much, but you literally just watch that water push the stain away. And then once I'm satisfied with how it looks, I won't put any more water on it, and then I'll use the heat gun again to set it. And then we'll begin our stamping. Okay, so we're all dry, we're ready to stamp. What I've done is I've chosen colors of Distress Stain that are darker than the initial color we used, and so that they'll coordinate, but they'll show up nice and dark. So this one is Broken China, and then the Distress Stain is Tumbled Glass. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to just keep on reusing this stamp. So to get the ink off, I'm just going to repeatedly just stamp it and twist it on a piece of paper just to get that ink off. And once it's clean, then I'll choose another color. So I think I'll go for the pink, and what I've done is I've chosen this Fired Brick red ink. Okay. So I'm going to stamp it somewhere close to the top so that I have room for my sentiment. Okay. So again, I'm just going to stamp it Okay, and last color, so on the yellow, I'm going to be choosing an orange spiced marmalade. Okay, we'll see how that looks. Alright, so I can put all my colored inks away, and the sentiment I will stamp in black so that it really stands out. Okay, so try and line it up. I'm just using the Unity acrylic blocks here. Okay, black soot, distress ink for the sentiment. Make sure it's nice and inky. And then find a spot. Okay. Nice. Okay, so we have those three done. Now we can glue them to our card. That one, and then this can go that way. Okay, so now I'm going to use some You Cut It foam. This is by Glue Arts. I've already cut just some sizes that might work. Right, so before I go, I'm just going to add a little bit of color using my Copic markers. I'm going to use this YG03. I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the leaf, just so it gives our eye a little something else to look at. And this green, since it's such a naturally occurring color, this will suit coloring on all of the cards, okay? And it'll just go right over top of the distress stains here. Okay, and last but not least, and then we'll add to the blue. I like this blue and green together. Okay. I also have these gems. I'm going to see what they look like, but I have, these are from Want to Scrap. So I've got these pink gems. I might put a little one like right by those leaves. Okay, and with the blue, I think I have a blue one here. So I'll do the same with the blue. Okay, and I don't have a matching color for the yellow card. But let's see if a red looks good there, and I think it does. Okay. Okay. Well, that concludes the tutorial for today. I hope you had a great time, and if you don't have this stamp, really check it out. It's been around for some time. It's an itty bitty, so it's on the Unity website. You'll find it under the itty bitty section, and it is called A Thing of Beauty. Okay. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching Unity TV.